I feel like at every major part of my life I can connect. I was either working at DCH or I was having a child at DCH or Tim was building something at DCH. For some reason, it's an entity that has been ingrained into my family. It's been ingrained into our livelihood, and I just cannot imagine trying to raise a family and take care of elderly parents in a community where there is not a good, sound healthcare system. And we have just got to do everything that we can do to make sure we help DCH be successful. I started working for DCH when I was 19. I had a sister-in-law who worked in the lab, and she was quitting. So I literally the next day went to the hospital, didn't go fill out an application or anything like that. I just walked into the laboratory and I was met by a gentleman named Mac DeLoach. And he asked if he could help me, and I said, yes, I want a job, I want to be a lab collector. And he said, well, did you fill out a job application? And I said, no, I just came straight to you because I knew you were the boss. And he gave me a chance. So I started working in the lab, and that's where I fell in love with the emergency department and realized that I really did want to be a nurse. After that, I got out of school. I went to the Capstone College of Nursing, and I got a job in the emergency department working 7-on-7 off day shift. I mean, it was like the dream job. And a couple of years after that, I went back to school and I got my master's degree and became the clinical nurse specialist in the emergency department.
I began working with DCH. My first project there was January the 2nd of 1986, when I first got to Tuscaloosa. Throughout the years at DCH, there's been numerous projects we've done. One of my favorite projects was adding on to the 6th and 7th floor of the South Wing. We added on top of an occupied building at that time. The Cancer Center is probably one of my favorites for various and sundry reasons. I never didn't realize that you would work on a project at the time you work on it that would affect your life and help you down the road. DCH Cancer Center gave me an additional year with my dad, and has done some things for me here in the past year. So when we were doing the ED expansion, and remember seeing this tall, skinny, blonde-headed girl in blue scrubs and a blue lab jacket that I always thought was kind of cute walking down the halls. Wasn't really sure I liked her, being in construction. She told me what to do in my job a lot. We didn't get along right there at the first, but I guess I came to respect her through that process.
Being the clinical nurse specialist, I got to be involved in some of the planning with the department there and would address clinical issues like what side of the bed should a sink go on and that type thing. And that's kind of where we butted heads a little bit because sometimes where the sink needed to go, the water wouldn't be coming through the wall right there, and that was kind of a problem. But I'll never forget a lady from the admissions office and I went to Palm Beach to a site visit, and when we got back to the hotel room that night, I had a dozen roses on my bed that said that when I got back to town he might like to have lunch with me, and because the project was finished and we really wasn't going to be working together anymore. So we had lunch when I got back, and I guess the rest is history, yeah. There
is an engagement story associated with DCH. At the time, we were doing the 6th and 7th floor, and we had a tower crane that basically swung over the top of the hospital, and it was within range of her office. And I had a banner made, got in a man basket, got my operator to fly me over the hospital and drop me in front of the walkway. As I'm sitting there, I unfurled the banner that said, "Sharon, will you be my wife?"
I wasn't sure what was going on. When I looked out, there were all these people standing down there, and I thought, ooh, Tim must be having a groundbreaking or something today. And I wouldn't look up, and then I finally did, and he was in that bucket way up high.
There was a moment of fear.
I started thinking back on my life and my grandparents' lives and all these times. DCH was just always kind of in the picture. We were born there. I got my first job there. I met my husband there. We had my children there, our children there. We took care of our elderly parents there. So when the opportunity came available for us to celebrate this 100th anniversary, it just kind of gave me an opportunity to reflect on how much the hospital meant to me. And I wanted everyone to know that it has been there a long time, and it is worth remembering all the people who over this time period made sacrifices and worked late hours, and the physicians that worked there and the nurses that all worked there. It gave us an opportunity to say thank you and to celebrate this for our community. And it's just really important to me, knowing what I know about the complexity of healthcare now and the needs that the hospital has, giving to things that we feel passionately about helps Tim and I know that it is truly staying in our community, and we are giving to causes that help the people in our community. And because DCH has been involved in our lives so much, this is where we choose to contribute.
Giving, obviously, is something that we elected to do a long time ago. I had this instilled in me from a couple of guys by the last name of Maccabee. Leroy and Harold both helped me when I started my business, and I can hear both of them tell me now, you got to give back, you got to give back, you got to give back. Obviously, through the Help and Hope was started through Harold and Leroy, and it's something that actually is an honor for me to be part of it, because I have so much respect for both of those gentlemen. DCH is always there. Whether you've had a good experience, great experience, DCH is the center hub of Tuscaloosa for healthcare. It's the light on top of the hill. Imagine where Tuscaloosa would be if we didn't have it.